Want to know how to build rapport with your prospects so that you actually make more sales? In this video, I'm going to reveal to you some rapport building techniques so that your prospect will trust you, like you, and then buy from you. Hey, it's Tom Jackobs. Thanks for stopping by the channel. This is specifically for solopreneurs, solo practitioners who want to build their business through a better sales process, through better speaking, and therefore better sales. In this video, I'm going to share with you tips and tricks on how you can get those prospects to trust you, like you, and then buy from you through a simple process of rapport building. And this in sales is always the first step. Because if you don't get somebody to like you, trust you, know you, then the chances of you actually making a sale is pretty slim. And these aren't rocket science type of techniques. It's really just 7 things that you can do in order of importance to build better rapport with your prospect. Tip number 1, so simple. It's just to simply smile. Here's an experiment that I want you to try. Walking down the street and looking at different strangers as you go along, just smile at somebody. Just kind of smile. You will see how infectious that is, and it will get the person that's just walking by with you. They'll maybe just kind of look at you a little odd and then smile because you're smiling. I mean, try that more and more, and it will be amazing what you will see in other people. And then when you do it in a sales conversation, and you're smiling, you're greeting the person, you're really super friendly, they're going to automatically get themselves at ease and get into that process of knowing you, liking you, and trusting you. The second tip is to make eye contact. That means looking at people in the eye, not doing the death stare. I had a boss once that did that all the time, and it was just really awkward. But you want to make eye contact, you want to talk to them, you want to maybe look away a little bit and then come right back to them. But eye contact is super critical, especially in sales, because if you're dodgy and just kind of not looking at them, people are not going to trust you. But if you're looking them straight in the eye, especially when you get to the close, when you're right there, right in their eyes, you can see their reaction. It is almost a sure thing that you will make a sale. Tip number 3. Now, this is something that I've actually struggled with quite a bit because it's not something that comes natural to most people, especially introverts like myself. And that is using the other person's name. That is the best thing in the whole world, is hearing our own name. Imagine that. Hey, Tom, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. Bob? But using that person's name frequently, not overly, it was like, hey, Tom, how are you doing, Tom? Tom, you good, Tom? Tom. But, using their name frequently enough so that they know that you know who they are, and it becomes a lot more personal. Tip number 4 is you have to mirror the other person. Now, what does that really mean? This is maybe a little bit more advanced technique in terms of rapport building, but mirroring is a simple technique that we're actually pre-programmed to recognize when other people are similar to us. And so what that means is if you're smiling, they're going to smile. They're kind of mirroring you. This puts people at ease, and they're like, oh, this person's just like me. What's interesting, this is really kind of fun, is that you're not actually like mimicking them. That's completely different. Like move forward, move forward. You want to make this as natural as possible. Maybe 1 or 2 seconds after they make a move, you make a move. And it's very similar to what they're doing. And it will make the rapport building a lot easier as well. Tip number 5, and this is something that a lot of salespeople struggle with. And when I'm doing coaching with salespeople, this is always really fun to watch their sales conversations. But you need to be not talking. So you need to be quiet more often than speaking. And the reason being is you need that prospect to give you all the information that you need to determine if you can actually help them, and then develop the program for them to help them and the presentation that you will take them through to ultimately get them to purchase your program. But if you're just talking, then you're not getting any information from them. It's kind of a rule of thumb, 80-20, 80% they should be speaking, 20% you should be speaking. And actually, what I like to do is I always just ask a question, because that gets the ball rolling a little bit more. And people love when you ask questions, because then that gets them talking more. So make sure that you are not speaking too much. Allow that prospect to speak as much as possible so that you can get a lot more information. Plus they feel like, oh, wow, this is great. I get to talk about myself a lot, and everybody loves to talk about themselves, right? Tip number 6, and this goes along with tip number 5. As you are speaking to people, of course, you don't want to be speaking too much, but you want to be asking questions and asking really good questions to get them to explain what their issues are and reveal to you why they need you. And what this does as well is, because they're verbalizing their need to you for your service, then they're really telling themselves, oh, I need this service. You know, it's one thing for you to tell somebody, oh, you need my services, of course, because XYZ. Well, they're not going to necessarily believe you. But if you ask a question to get them to actually realize that they do need your services, then the conversation is a lot. So ask really good questions to get them to realize that they need you. And tip number 7, and this one's kind of fun because a lot of times you won't even have to use this if you do everything else right in the sales process. And that is react positively to objections. And a lot of salespeople, when they hear an objection, they're like, oh my gosh, they're not going to buy from me. To me, objections are just questions. They're like clarifying questions. It's not that they're going to say no. It's just that they don't have enough information to make a decision at this point. So you haven't done your job right. If you did your job right, you won't get any objection. Use objections as a really good point to go back to different steps in the sales process, asking better questions and answering any questions that they might have. One thing that I like to do is always restate the objection or the question that they have, and then make sure that it's still valid. You know, because a lot of times when people say, oh, you know, it's too expensive. Well, too expensive compared to what? You know, because everything is relative in terms of price or anything for that matter, but it's their expectation of what the value is. It's not about price. It's more about value. So you haven't shown enough value to justify the price that you're asking. So that's a really good objection. And I would really welcome that, because now I get to go back and talk to them a little bit more about the value that I'm going to provide to them so that they can make a better decision. All right. Well, there you go. 7 tips to get rapport building really going, to get those prospects to know, like, and trust you so that you are making more sales, because that is the key to growing your practice and growing your business is more sales, more people that you can help. Now, I've put together another video right here. I'm going to put it right there, which I think you're going to really, really enjoy. So make sure you check out that video. And if you haven't done so already and you like these videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, make a comment, and I will see you next time.